Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is happy, safe, and healthy, and hopeful that this is going to end soon and we can see each other again. So this is the first lesson of our electricity unit. And today I want to talk about what is electricity. So here's electricity. What does it sound like? Is there any word you learned that sounds like electricity? Think of the word elect, this part. Yes, you're correct. The closest you remember is the word electron. Do you remember electron inside the atom? So electricity really comes from the word electron. And what it means is that for some push, electrons can move from one atom to the other, and that's how we create and generate electricity. So we have two types of electricity. The first type is called static electricity. I'm sure you're familiar with this. Have you seen this before? You know, when you take your sweater off and your hair goes up, or you've tried, rubbing a pen on your head and then you can see it picks up pieces of papers, or sometimes you walk on a carpet and you touch somebody and you get this little zap. Have you noticed? You get like a little zap and you get a shock and it hurts. I don't know if it has happened to all of you, but so many of you have probably experienced this. This is called static. And static electricity means it's not moving. If something is static, it comes from the word stationary, means it's not moving. Another type of electricity is called current electricity. So current means it's moving. Sorry, I might have to write. So it's moving. So current electricity moves. That means it moves inside the battery, goes in the wire, goes in the light bulb, and it comes back. And that's how you get light. Or electricity comes from Niagara Falls sources to your home, and it's moving through a path we call wire. So wire, we call it a path. Path is another word for, I say, road. You know, you travel along the road and you go from your house to your friend's house, or you go to school, or you visit your friend. So electricity is the same thing. It comes from one path and it goes maybe to your phone that you're charging, and then it comes back along the way. So it's always like that. It leaves one side, gives the energy to the light bulb, to your phone or something, to your fridge, to your TV, and then comes back to the battery or comes back to the wall. So this is called current electricity. We're going to learn that later. Today we're going to talk about static only. Okay? Static electricity. So as I said, static electricity is dealing with positive and negative charges. And you learned that before. Protons have positive, electrons have negative, and I'm going to explain that. So it's something to do with these electrons and protons. Charges are not moving. That means it's electricity that doesn't move. Stay still or at rest, like this guy, just not moving. So for example, if you know balloons, if you had a party and you rubbed it against your hair, you rubbed it against your hair and all of a sudden there's electricity in there, and next thing you know, you can stick the balloon to the wall. Right? That was the reason you could stick the balloon to the wall, because it has static electricity. But there's no path. So you cannot say, oh, okay, there's electricity, I'm going to charge my phone. Nope, because it does not move. It's not moving. Okay? Now I want you to remember from chemistry what's inside the atom. We have protons, the positive charges. They have positive, or another word, plus. So plus, positive, same thing. Okay? And then we had electrons, negative, minus, another word, right? 4 minus 5. And then neutrons, which they had no charge. And if you remember from before, it's called neutral. So plus, neutral, and minus. And if you remember, plus is always equal to minus. Protons and electrons in a regular or usual atom, they are equal. Now let's understand what is neutral, what's negative, and what's positive. So suppose this is a t-shirt. When it's neutral, number of pluses, protons and electrons are equal. So here's my protons. Minus. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3 pluses, 1, 2, 3 minuses. So if I have equal, my charges are what I call neutral. There's no static electricity. Nothing is going to stick to anything else. Nothing is going to stick to the wall when I have a neutral object. When I have negative, then I will have more minus. Maybe 1 or 2 plus. So you can see there's more minus or negative than positive. When I have positive, there is more pluses than minus. So that's when I say I have static electricity. So here and here you have static electricity. Why? Because positive and negative are not equal. Therefore, things stick together. Like in the laundry, when you do your laundry and you put your clothing inside the dryer, the clothes you have, they rub against each other. That will be our next lesson. We're going to learn how. And when they rub and rub, they actually develop what we call static electricity. And then they stick together. Why? Because there is... What is neutral? When I have equal numbers of plus and minus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you come here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you have to have equal numbers before you can have a neutral object. Most objects are always neutral unless you rub it with something, unless you create friction. So here, if I have negative, I should have more minuses. Maybe 2 pluses. Here again, minus, 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 minus. Maybe 1 or 2 pluses. Minus, 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 minus. maybe 1 or 2, 3. So you have more minus. Here, plus, plus, minus, 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 minus. And that's how I get a negative charge. I hope everybody's clear. When do I get a positive charge? When I have positive, 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 positive. And maybe one negative. And that's when I have positive. When there's more plus than minus. Here, these are called the laws of attraction and repulsion. So we learned what is positive, what is negative. So if I bring a t-shirt that is positive to another t-shirt that is positive, they, what we call, repel. Repel. Repel means they move away from each other. So if I bring two negatives, they repel too. You can see they move away from each other, right? They don't like each other. Two neutral, nothing happens. Positive and negative, they like each other. They attract. They come together, they stick together. So attraction or attract means coming together. And these are called the laws of attraction repulsion. Sometime, I'm going to show you later on what the laws are. So now this is your booklet. Static electricity, okay, I know what that means. Static means not moving. Atom, I know what atom is. Neutral, I know what neutral means no charge. Friction is the only word, and friction means rubbing. When you rub a balloon against your hair, when in a dryer two t-shirts are rubbing against each other, when your socks and your pants in the dryer rub against each other and they stick together, and you take it out of the dryer, your socks are stuck to your pants. That's called rubbing. Another word for rubbing, it's called friction. Okay? So in this booklet, 3 things I want you to highlight again. Static electricity means not moving. Very important. Not moving along a path, a road. Okay? And to understand that, we need to understand atoms. In atoms, we have positive charges like protons and negative charges like electrons. Okay? If we have the same number, right? If we have same number and as positive and negative, what do we have? Neutral. Neutral. Same number. But if the numbers are changing, then I will have static electricity. So static electricity is when plus and minus are not equal, not the same. I will have 5 plus, 2 minus. Or 6 minus, 2 plus, not the same. For neutral here, for neutral, you get the same numbers. Okay? And then we learn about friction. And friction means rubbing. When you're rubbing one against the other. And that's the next lesson. Static electricity is not the same electricity that we use for light bulb, motors, toasters, or other things. That one is called current electricity. Okay? Current electricity. So these are the things you should know from the booklet I gave you. And in your booklet, it shows happy faces and then sad faces, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this. I'm going to show you how attraction works, the word attract, and the word repel, okay? So if I have a positive and a negative, they are opposite. Opposite means different. So if I have positive and negative, are they the same? No. This is plus, this is minus. They're not the same. So what happens? They attract. Attracting means they come together. They like each other. Attract. Coming together. So positive and a neutral. For example, I have a t-shirt has more pluses, and then I have a t-shirt that has nothing, like same numbers. In a dryer, one becomes positive, the other one stays neutral. You still take it out and they're stuck together, stick together. So they still attract. And a minus and neutral, they like each other and they attract. A plus and a plus, same thing, they don't like. So this is a plus, this is a plus, same, repel. So repel means moving away from each other. I don't like you. Minus and minus also repel. They don't like each other. Minus and minus. Only when I have plus and minus, plus and neutral, minus and neutral, they come together. So here it tells you out of this list, which one's going to attract? Plus and minus. Plus and, minus and plus. It's just the same thing, but minus and neutral, plus and neutral. Which one repel? Minus and minus, plus and plus. Now it says, I have a balloon rubbed with flannel cloth would stick to the cloth. So if I rub two things and they stick together, do they have static electricity? Yes. Because if they were neutral, they don't stick together. If so, do they have like charges or opposite? Obviously, if they stick together, they have opposite. A second balloon is rubbed with the same flannel. The balloon also sticks to the cloth. Do the first balloon and second balloon have like charges? Yes, because the balloon will have the same charges. So if the first balloon is minus, second one minus, so therefore they have like charges. Like means same. Same. So if the charge on the flannel cloth is positive, what's the charge of the balloon? Obviously negative, because the cloth and the balloon, they like each other. They stick together. If they stick together, therefore they have to have opposite charges. Now here, this picture, you have a comb. Do you see any plus and minuses? No. Are there any plus and minuses on the paper? No. So this is neutral. This is neutral. So if they're both neutral, are they going to stick together? No. Nothing. No static electricity if I have neutral. So the comb does not pick up the paper. The comb is not charged. When I say it's not charged, means it has no static electricity. The paper is not charged either. It's still neutral. That shows objects with no charge do not attract each other. They don't. This one, on the other hand, look at it. We're rubbing. We are rubbing. There's friction. See the word rubbing? That's what it's doing. It creates friction. And what happens? The negatives are going into the comb. That means the electrons going into the comb. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the comb is negative. The cloth is positive. It has more pluses. So now the comb, you can see here lots and lots of negative charges. So it has static electricity. And when I have static electricity, papers are sticking to it. Papers here are neutral. The comb is negative. And negative and neutral attract. So the comb does pick up. The comb has become charged. Charged means it has static. Okay, charging means it has static electricity. The comb now, what's the charge of the comb? Negative, minus. The paper, still nothing. Paper still neutral. Nobody rubbed it. I rubbed the paper here, the comb here. Nothing was rubbing the papers. Papers stay neutral, but negative and neutral, they attract. That shows that the charged object does attract a neutral object. Last page here, an atom has plus and minus. Plus is the proton, minus is the negative electron. An atom usually has the same number of usually. But if I rub it with something, then electrons move, then they're not equal, then I have static electricity. So A. Neutral means no charge. Charged matter has static electricity. Anything I rub and the plus and minus is not equal, I have static. So static electricity does not move along a path. No moving. Sticks right in that corner and it doesn't move. If I want to make 100 minus charges neutral, so if I have minus 100, remember when we did the booklet and protons and neutrons, I have to have plus 100 in order for me to get 0. 0 is neutral, so then I need 100 plus. Same charges like plus and plus, they repel. Repel. Opposite charges like minus and plus, opposite, they attract. Again, repel means they don't like each other, move away. Attract means they come together. So static electricity can come from rubbing. It can't come from batteries. It can't come from anything else. They come from friction. Just like that cloth rubbing against the comb. Okay? When it's winter, your hands are cold, you rub your hands to warm it up because friction creates heat and you warm your hands. So friction is another word for rubbing.